Hello, people. Thank you very much for coming to the webinar this evening. We are really privileged to have you here this evening. What we wanted to do tonight was just go through a bit of a tick list of how to secure your I am going to pass my driving test, because there is a lot you can do to help yourself to get ready for this driving test. And the thing is that I keep saying to people that one of the things we try to do is provide you with as much knowledge and with as many opportunities as possible for you to be able to get through this driving test. Now, one of the things that we do, which is different to a lot of other driving schools, is we provide you with your own dedicated bespoke client manager who, when you sign up with us, when you talk to us, somebody will be allocated to you to help you get you through the driving test. That person will go through all the way through with you and support you finding an instructor, helping you getting the instructor paid so that you don't run risk with your funds and finances, making sure that you're looked after by the instructor, getting your driving test, getting your theory test, getting theory tuition for you. So everything you need, we work with you to find it for you and also to help you get through this driving test. One of the things that came up last week, which was really interesting, was when we did a statistical analysis of what the potential is of passing the test the first time. And it basically comes down to around about 17%, I would say between about 13 to 17% is the chance of you passing the driving test the first time. But that is only because I think people don't follow a tick list. They don't follow a procedure to get through that driving test. Because where the biggest mistake is when people go to the driving test on the premise that you need to be able to drive a car. That is the first 15 hours of your learning to drive. The first 15 to 20 hours of your learning to drive is you learning to drive a car, how to move the car, how to move the car away, how to pull up, how to do the controls, how to do this, how to do that, how to do the things with the car, how to manipulate the car. That is the beginning of it. The next hours that you spend, the next part of the tuition you have to get yourself is after that initial period of time when you've learned to drive. Yes, some people are going to be much more dexterous than others, and some people are going to be really clever and do automatic and all these things, and maybe you'll get away with 10 to 12 hours of learning to drive. In other words, how to manipulate and guide and control the car. 10 to 12 hours, maybe, but that's not everybody. Then after that, you need time to get the roadcraft right, identifying the junctions, procedures on how to do your work. That's all part of that tick list you have to go through. So I think in all my time that I've been doing tuition, and I've started a lot of people from scratch, the best I've ever had was somebody who got through a driving test in 23 hours. But they were already trained to fly helicopters, but they never got their driving test. So they came to us to get their driving test because they needed to be able to travel to the airport and stuff like that. And they were tired of using Ubers and things like that. So they had to start, and we taught them to drive. And that was very dexterous. That's a person who's got a lot of physical control and can do multiple things simultaneously. Okay, so I think the important message that I'm trying to get across to everybody tonight is have a procedure, have a plan on how to get this driving test, and discuss that plan of yours with our client managers so that they can help you with the free materials we have available when you are our client. Okay, the moment you buy a driving test, a fast track driving test from us, or you do theory tuition, or we book your theory test, or whatever we do, whenever you become a client of ours, no matter how little or how much, There are certain things that become part of what our service is. Artificial intelligence to help you learn for the theory test is available through us. We set that up for you. You don't have to pay for it. It is something that is part of your course. It's all there. It's brought in and put on the table for you. Then there is the driving test preparation videos. They are absolutely critical. I don't know if everybody watched this video, but really, guys, if you watch the video that we just played, every single one of those clients reiterated how much it helped them to get through the driving test by doing that. So your first hit box has to be to do all the theory, get the theory behind your belt, get that in place. Then you've got to find yourself a good driving school who can give you all the rest of what you need, give you the support you need, give you the help you need, and make sure your money is safe as well. That's also very, very important. Okay. All right. So I want to just share a couple of things with you. So the DVSA on their website has a how to pass your driving test by learning vital skills, managing nerves, and taking mock tests. The first part of your driving test and the skills that you need are going to be, it's like building a house. You're going to start at a certain point. Getting your theory and getting through your theory is really important for you once you get to the stage where you have to start doing your roadcraft. Your roadcraft, getting to that stage where you have to do your roadcraft, you need to have passed your theory test. So learning to drive while you are doing your theory test or studying for your theory test is quite acceptable up to the point that you've done the 12 to 17 hours. That gap when you've now finished manipulating the car, you know where everything is and you can drive the car. Now you're starting to get into knowing the roadcraft, being able to read the signs, the road signs, being able to understand what the markings on the ground mean and what the implications are on your driving, understanding how to use roundabouts, all those sort of things are part of the theory. But there is a very, very, very clear definition difference in the theory test and theory preparation stuff and the driving test video material that we make available to you guys. We have this driving test, advanced driving test, professional driving test videos. These videos are there for you to be able to prepare yourself for that roadcraft side of things, which are covered sparsely in the theory test and are necessarily, we build on the building blocks you got out of the theory and take you to another level when it comes to this thing. Now, what I want to share with you tonight is something like this, is just to highlight that this is really important. Okay, this is a first time pass that we got done today. The guy only had 10 hours of a total of 10 hours he was booked in for. And he'd had some previous driving training that went over 2 years, which I think was a little bit of a waste, but it made him into a driver. And what we had to do was take him to the next level for the test. So I'll just play a little bit. I'm just going to play little scraps out of this for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Freddie, so today you passed. First time pass. Yeah, first time pass. Freddie got a first time pass, guys. That is absolutely brilliant. Beat around the block a little bit with driving and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you...
Okay, and then, yeah.
And I think an important thing, which just I always try to highlight for people, but you can give me your own opinion about that. What about the lessons, the online video tutorials?
They were massive help. Obviously, you said, go and look at these videos, and I thought, I don't want to sit there and, do you know what I mean, for hours watching videos, but no, it was brilliant. It just explained things really, really easy, and just sort of, just relaxed me when I'm I now know I'll come away from there, revised, come back, and obviously.
Okay. The point of this part of the video, why I'm showing you that part of the video, is basically because he highlights again, and this watching these online preparation videos. And the reason the online preparation videos are so good is because it gives you an opportunity to practice for your test, knowing what you need to be able to pass your test. So it's really, really important that you get this material under the belt. And all you have to do is contact your client manager, and they will point you to where to get it and how to get it from our thing. So going through this, so the first thing you've got to do, obviously, is you have to do your theory test. You've got to get that behind you. You've got to study for that. And here we would help you do that. The next thing you have to do is get those first 12 to 15 hours under the belt to get to be able to control the car, to get yourself to the stage where you're not completely comfortable yet, but at least you are reasonably proficient and you can drive the car and stop the car and steer it around corners and things like that. The next thing is the roadcraft side, and that's where these videos come in, these driving test preparation videos. And guys, saves you time, saves you money, and it gets you through that test. Now, once you've got to that stage where you are now think you are ready for the test, obviously you can have your test book, but the one thing you must do is you must do a mock test with your driving instructors. That's the quickest and best way to find out if you're ready for the test, is the mock test. Okay, then be sure that I'd say to my students, look, if you can drive for a whole hour without making a serious mistake, then you are on the way to being ready for your driving test. The problem is, why I say an hour is because when you're in the driving test itself, most of the time there's a nerves problem. People are very nervous about how thing, and that makes it the potential for making a mistake greater. So my attitude is rather be in a position where you know you can drive for an hour or more without making a serious mistake. And really, you want to be down to about 3 minors an hour. You shouldn't be making more than 3 minors an hour. You shouldn't miss anything within those 3 minors. Now, when you go to the driving test, the final thing you have to do is you have to make sure that you've got the show me, tell me questions under your belt as well. But that's something that you can prepare, you can study, and we've got lots of material available for you to work with. So when you look at the DVSA, they tell you managing your driving test nerves. We spoke about that in a previous thing, and there are medical things that you can do to help you with that if you're a really nervous exam taker. And then the DVSA talking about mock tests, and we recommend you get your driving instructor to do mock tests with you. And then when you take your driving test, you just go and you smash it out of the park. Okay. All right. Now, I think we have done that reasonably well. Now, questions. I think we go for questions now.
There we go. Raised hands.
Samantha, you can go for it, Samantha. How can we help you, Samantha? Can you?
Hi there. I just wanted to find out in terms of, I guess, is it turnaround times, or if you want to call it that? So, if I signed up with yourself, how long would it take me to get a driving test book? Is that something that you do, or do I do that myself?
No,
I mean, how does I don't think I
Samantha,
quite understand how it works.
I'll show you how it works. Let me show you how it works. We say, Samantha, by when do you want to do your test?
I just failed my test about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And it was really down to just nerves, I guess. I was really nervous. I have been driving for about 17 years or so. I can drive, but it's just really driving too fast, I guess, that I need to master, and just my nerves as well. Yeah, I'm dyslexic as well, so I think sometimes there's a delay in processing. So if you tell me to turn left, I hear what you're saying, but for me to process that, it's a few seconds, and by which time I probably would have gone past the left that you're asking me to turn to. So things like that, and I get really nervous as well.
Yeah, but Samantha, the secret there is to slow it down. There's nothing that prevents you slowing it down. Okay, so the secret is slow it down. And the other thing too is what I would suggest is if you are slightly dyslexic and so on, you can ask the examiner, you can go to the examiner when you do your test and you've got your examiner, you're walking out to the car, you ask the examiner, you say to him, look, I really struggle with lefts and right. Why don't you just point me when you say turn left, point me left, or turn right, point me right. And that helps me a lot. That will help you and settle that nervousness around directions for you as well, being dyslexic, because I'm slightly dyslexic as well, and I have to find ways around it. But yes, so that could be it. Now, the turnaround time with us is what you want to make it. I mean, we can put you on what we call we put you onto our test finding priority list. We find out which test center you need a test in. We then arrange to book a test in that test center for you. And when we've found you the appropriate test, we will offer you the test, and then you can tell us if you want to take it or not. And most of our turnaround times, I mean, the guy whose video I showed you today was 2 weeks from the time he contacted us. We'd set up the course and got his driving
2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Amazing. Okay.
So the question is, what's your priorities? How do you want to do that? How do you?
I mean, I'm traveling end of December, I guess, so for a month. And if I have to do it, it probably will be before I travel or when I come back in February.
Yeah.
But I guess the sooner, the better, really.
No, the best thing when you've done a test and you were trained up to it, then get back in that car as quickly as you can and get it done. Because the longer you hang, the more bleed you get in knowledge. So it's in your best interest to put this behind you as quickly as you can. Really just get it done. Knuckle down and get it done, honestly.
Okay. I mean, I have a client manager. I think I asked her, but I think I don't know if I got an email back. I guess, do I contact them again or?
Yeah. Contact your client manager, and if you have any struggle with anything, you can always get hold of Lariska as well. She can follow up and find out what's going on. Okay.
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 All right. Thank you.
Thanks for that. No, set your target. Make a plan. Make it happen. That's all that does.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, maybe sort of mid-December. I guess that would give me about 6 weeks.
Where do you want? Let's see if we've got a test for you. Where do you want to test?
Tottenham Test Centre. Tottenham or Barnet. I think Tottenham is my
Have
first.
we got anything on the register?
I'll quickly have a look. Tottenham, right?
Tottenham,
yes, please.
Or Barnet for December.
Okay, hold on a moment.
End of November or December. This is a bit off the cuff, Samantha. So the girls weren't doing this tonight. So be interesting.
And I appreciate it. Thanks.
Patricia, are you flying?
Sorry?
I'm saying, are you flying, Patricia?
I wish I was flying. We actually have Barnet. We have the 18th of December. Barnet.
Oh, the 18th of December. That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So you can contact Patricia tomorrow. Patricia, mark that test as taken. All right.
All right. I'll do so.
What time is it, Patricia?
Let me check for you. 18th of December, Barnet, 12:28.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's even perfect. Yeah, that's even better. Okay.
All right.
What, are you
I'm gonna hold it.
contact me, Patricia, or?
Can you contact me? Can you contact the office and ask for Patricia?
Okay. All right. No problem.
All right.
Just hold it for Samantha. Put Samantha's name on it. And
I just did that.
she wraps it up
Thank you.
tomorrow. She can have it. There you are, Samantha. It's not that difficult. See that?
Yes. Wow. So I guess yeah, the pressure is on now to sort of get my thinking cap on and
Yeah.
All right.
see what I need to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the videos, Samantha. Watch the videos. Okay. Lovely. Really glad we could help you as well. That's good stuff, Samantha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Samantha. Good luck with that. All right.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Hello?
Yes, just Nara.
Just Nara, hi. I'd cancelled my test. It was the 10th of October because I wasn't ready because my driving instructors, they didn't teach me anything about parking. I mean, I can drive and then I can stop and park like that, but not the all the complications like parallel parking.
Yeah.
So I kind of like had several different instructors.
Yeah.
Because I tried manual and then I went to automatic, and because I don't really like driving. I don't really like driving, but I want to have that skill. And it's so I put myself under pressure. But I just want to kind of like I don't know how I managed to sign up, but I saw this and I just turned up today. Because I don't know, because I don't really know if I want to stay with that same school that I'm doing the lessons with, or like
Yeah.
if, because I want to, because when I drive with one driver instructor, I do fine, and then when I'm with another car, it's like I can't do the steering. It's like with different people, I have different. It's almost like I'm a new person in the car. Now I told myself, okay, I need to get into a small car because I'm a girl and I'm 5'3", so I need to get a driver that's a female and who drives a small car.
Just not.
Yeah.
I think. First of all, I'm not slating anybody or anything like that.
Yes.
But I think the gender is not really a problem, okay? And finding female instructors is really difficult because, and please, I'm not being gender specific here, but mostly lady instructors have got
Yeah.
children and they've really got a lot more things to do than men have to do. So they get very busy as well. And it's easier to find a man to do it because they do it more as a job, whereas a lot of female instructors tend to do it as an additional work over and above other stuff they do. So we find that our female instructors are how can I say, more occupied than our men instructors. So that's one of the things one needs to take into consideration. But there isn't any real difference between the way they teach. Does that make sense? I think sometimes the opposite gender is easier because discipline can be dealt with in a different way. I don't know how that
Oh no, I first thought that I'll find it easier, but I've like tried about like 4 male drive instructors, and they all seem kind of like chauvinist pigs. I'm just gonna say they're very misogynist. When we're driving, they kind of like all I get a feeling is that they want my money because they go, oh, this silly girl, she's gonna give me money, not teach me anything. No, it's true. So I'm like thinking I need to find one that I can trust. They just can't teach me. No, it's not that I'm not teachable. I am teachable, but they just don't know how to.
Okay. I think what we can do is discuss this with our client managers, and then let's see how we can solve that problem for you. Okay, if there is something we can do to solve that problem. How many hours of driving have you already done?
So I basically I'm just gonna be honest, over the 4 years I did driving lessons here and there. So I think I probably did about 45 over 4 years.
Okay.
So it's never been consistent. And since I didn't do my test in October, so I haven't in October I haven't done any lessons.
Yeah, but it's a good decision if you're not ready not to do your test.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Absolutely pointless exercise if you're not ready. You won't pass it. But the other thing too, which is really good, just now, you've gone over to automatic, which is very clever because all the cars in future are going to be automatic anyway. So I mean, all we hear is that we're going to have electric cars and they're all going to be automatic. So there's no point in doing manual unless you have a specific reason, like you want to be a van driver. That's your aspiration.
No, thank you. Sorry, okay. I don't want a van driver.
Okay, so I would suggest just now the best would be to talk to the client manager, have a really nice discussion with one of our client managers, and tell them what your history is and what you've suffered with, because we've got some really, really good instructors who we never hear about them being obnoxious men, but there are some of our instructors who you might. I mean, that's life, isn't it?
I want to instruct that because they didn't teach me anything about parking. How can you take just money from somebody and not cover that? Because I got my brother to teach me, and he goes, "Didn't any of them teach you anything about parallel parking?" No, they're just teaching me. They just kind of thinking this girl's just gonna give money like that because I'm driving for pleasure. That's what they think, probably. Yeah.
No, I understand that. But let's talk to our client managers and let's see how we can sort that out for you. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Keep going, finish it. Yeah, it's a good skill to have, and it
Oh, yeah,
it is
definitely. I
good.
want to finish. I want to, because I told you during COVID I passed my drive after COVID I passed my theory test, but then I didn't like do the test, practical test within 2 years, so I had to do the theory test again, which of course I passed, but I can't just keep passing theory tests and just
Yeah.
not actually doing the practical test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the best thing is to sort of do a semi-intensive course and get through this as quickly as possible, because that's the least that will cost you as well in there.
Yeah, maybe.
And then if you sign up with us, you're also going to have the opportunity to go through the driving test preparation videos, and they are really useful. They are really, really useful.
Just want to say, just so I don't make out like all the man drivers were bad. No, it's just the area I live in, Tooting, and is the most congested, the most traffic orientated area. Too many people, too many cars. It is always in so it's a lot to do with the area I live in. It's just you're in one place for like half an hour. So it's like a waste of money a lot of the time. Yeah.
But maybe the option for you then is just to get on a train and go out to an area which is much more drivable, because a lot of our students do that. They don't drive where it's really congested. They will, for instance, people who live in Wood Green would go up to Enfield and go and do it in Enfield, because Enfield is much more fluid and it's a much better center to do. So those are options that will really help you a lot, and then you don't sit in traffic all the time.
Yeah. So are you saying that like when I do if I, let's say I talk to the clientele and I decide to do lessons, that I should do lessons a bit more further away from where I live?
Yeah, absolutely. And you go to the test center area. So you go to an instructor in one of the test center areas like Barnet or Borehamwood, and you go and do, I don't know exactly what's the best route for you, but that is always a good option. I mean, the guy who I showed just now in the video, he was going to do Enfield, and then we found him a test in Bishops, and I told him Bishops Stortford's a really good place to do a test, and it is because it's much simpler driving than what it would be in Enfield. Enfield is quite a difficult test center, but it's a lot better than Wood Green, believe me. So these sort of things you need to consider as well. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's lovely speaking to you. And
thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
I see we have an anonymous attendee about roundabouts. All I can say to you, Matthew, all I can say to you in the end is that when it comes to driving in the UK, if you've been driving somewhere else, the first problem that you've got is on which side of the road you drove. Now, if you drove on the same side of the road as the British drive on, which is the correct side of the road to drive on, then I can already hear people saying, how can that be the correct side of the road? Everybody else drives on the other side. Statistically, the whole world is divided in half. Half the number of drivers in the world drive on the left-hand side, and half the other drivers in the world drive on the right-hand side. The world is actually divided in half. And that's because of the way China, Hong Kong, and India are split. In Europe, they drive on the right-hand side, but because of the British influence, these countries with the bigger populations drive on the left-hand side of the road. So it really is split halfway. The world of drivers is split half and half. Okay, so in the UK, if it depends on whether you were a UK driver, you were a left-hand side of the road driver or a right-hand side of the road driver. Okay, it's like the Americans. They can't speak and they can't drive on the right side of the road. So they can't speak English and they can't drive on the right side of the road. They do drive on the wrong side of the road, but it's the right side of the road. All right, get your head around that one. Okay. And the question that all I can say to you guys is that you normally will need, it doesn't matter, even if you've had 20 hours of driving, you need 4 to 6 hours or more of preparation for that driving test. The driving test is tough, guys. It's not a joke. It really is. You've got to have the right attitude and approach. And you've got to have the right procedures, because the examiner is not marking you on whether you can manipulate the car. He's marking you on your ability with your roadcraft and your procedures, whether your procedures are reflecting are reflecting correctly in your driving ability. And that is speed, observations, and all sorts of roadcraft things that have to do with roadcraft, proper application of roadcraft, looking in the mirrors at the right time, being aware of traffic around you, using a peep and creep procedure, these sort of things. That's what you're being evaluated on. And yes, we aren't the cheapest, but we get the job done. That's the truth. And we don't try and be the cheapest school out there, because in the end we can't provide all these facilities and we will reduce your overall cost, because we make things available and we work with our clients. I have never, and honestly, I have never in all the time I've been teaching and running this school, had somebody come to me after they've paid and done their lessons and said that was too expensive. Nobody's ever said that to me. Today, one of our client managers got a tip of £400 from somebody. So guys, it's not a joke. And last week we had somebody come up and say, what I found with you people are you're more interested in getting us through the test than the money. And that is the way we work. But sure, if you want to go for the cheapest, you must go for the cheapest. But what we've always found is that when you do go for the cheapest, you end up with people who will just, in the end, you'll pay much more for what you're actually getting than coming with us, where you get all these other facilities as well, which is part of making it a good driving experience. How can I deal with a busy roundabout? The best thing you can do, that is anonymous attendee person, says, how can I deal with a busy roundabout? That's what's written here. And the answer is go and watch the video. The videos make it really simple. They tell you how to use shielding, how to approach the roundabout, how to go through the roundabout. Really, you need to watch the videos, the driving test preparation videos. The driving test preparation videos are really, really good for that. How can I deal with nerves when I am driving? Guys, I had this it's a question that often comes up. The first thing you have to do is really have a good roadcraft and knowledge, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's difficult. The second thing that you've got to consider there is, if you really have an exam nerves problem, you can try ibuprofen, see if that calms you down. Normally 400 milligrams or so of the proper normal dose of ibuprofen would calm you down. Remember, I'm not a doctor, okay, so I can't give medical advice, but that's what it says on the packet. It is a calming agent as well, so that if you're not allergic to it, all the other things, all the disclaimers, guys, I'm not a doctor, but that's something you can do. And the other thing too is you can go to your doctor and say to your doctor, I've got a driving test coming up. I really get nervous and it throws me completely. And the doctor can prescribe beta blockers for you. So you can ask the doctor to prescribe beta blockers for you. But I would suggest that you don't make the mistake of taking the beta blockers and going to the driving test. That's the wrong way to do it. You have to have at least 2 sessions of using the beta blockers with your instructor in the car, so that you can see that the negative effect doesn't make you dangerous. So you've got to be really careful with something like that. I would never recommend that somebody gets beta blockers and then for the first time takes them on their driving test. That would be a really, really bad idea. You need to know how they affect you. You've also got to make sure that you've eaten or not eaten in the same way when you take them, when you're in the car with your driving instructor, and you need to tell your driving instructor, listen, I'm taking some beta blockers to see how they affect me. Because the driving instructor can then observe you and keep you safe, okay? All right, that's us done. Is there anything else, Lariska?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for this evening. Thank you so much for attending, and really appreciate the fact that you share your stories with us. We love dealing with the stories and love it when a plan comes together. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Have a good evening.